Christ probably was just a dude that like released his baggage to the degree that he's just this essence of authenticity. Women are very powerful. Women like guide the nature of men. Men are like the perceived front of the ship. Any type of unprocessed emotion or feeling is like a energetic debt on your body. If you're in your life, like you are panicked. You literally are sending out anxiety vibes, anxiety vibes, anxiety vibes.
You look so uncomfortable.
No, I am good.
You look like you're like squeezed into like...
Shit.
Are you more comfortable or alone or in connection?
Connection.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why?
Aloneness for me feels...
Welcome back to another episode of Wealthy. Today's guest is Erin Alexander, a movement coach, breathwork expert, and manual therapist that helps people create more strength, flexibility, mobility, and ease, not only in their bodies, but in their minds and spirits as well. He brings over 2 decades of experience working with celebrities and professional athletes like Aaron Rodgers. He's the author of The Align Method and the host of the Align podcast that has millions of downloads. I am beyond honored to have him on today for a conversation that expanded my mind, taught me so much, and made me laugh a lot, as you will hear. So let's welcome Aaron to the Wealthy Podcast.
You know I activate the Kundalini?
Is the sage.
I keep sage.
That in Kundalini rise.
That's how you know I activate the Kundalini.
Yeah. Sage. Dude, Kundalini, so do you not believe in Kundalini stuff? Because I didn't believe in...
We're recording, right? All right, good.
We are recording?
The worst
We are
is
recording?
when you don't record. No, we're locked in. Let's go. No, this is too much. Too little.
Take out the pillow. Take out the pillow.
Too much or too little?
Take out the pillow.
No, we're good. I'm locked in.
Oh, you look so uncomfortable.
No, I am good.
You look like you're like squeezed into like...
Shit. I'm
literally dead. Welcome to She's Wealthy.
Oh, what is it called? Wealthy?
She's wealthy. Well.
Oh, I love that.
Wealthy and well.
Wealthy.
You get it?
I didn't even say because it's all caps well. I just saw the well part. But now I get it. That's good.
Just she's wealthy.
Health is wealth.
You should be very honored because you are one of 3, maybe 4 male guests on the show.
Oh, that is meaningful.
Yeah.
I actually
I'm excited to have you here. Before we start, I want to tell a funny story about how I met you, which was at a wellness event in Miami. And you led like a breathwork practice. And then afterwards I was standing with my friends and I like looked over and you were standing with 2 other guys and you were eating like a meat stick. And not like a Chomp's cute meat stick, like a full
nice
salami.
Girthy meat stick. I was macking on a girthy sauce.
Macking on a girthy sausage, which is like a normal thing for you, because then I saw you again at the grocery store and you had one in your hand.
Yeah, it's just
I've
convenient.
never seen anybody in my life just hold like a giant meat like
just get
chunk.
some saturated fats.
Is that good for you? With all the fat in there?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's been a lot of misdirection around fear of fats, and a lot of that. I don't get like conspiracy theories of like big food or big whatever, but a push towards sugar and villainizing fat, and the idea that fat or lipids would be a better word for it causes you to like become fat is grossly incorrect. Yeah.
Do you think I would have a hard time finding a boyfriend if I walked around and just ate a giant
Depends on the boyfriend.
Meat stick?
You know, you find like a very earthy boyfriend. Okay, yeah. I would say.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Meat stick's not for me. But anyway, that was the moment I knew I liked you, because it was bizarre and amazing. And I'm excited to have you here. Everything that you do is super interesting. You are an incredible practitioner, but you're also super knowledgeable and very smart. So this is going to be a great conversation. I'm going to learn a lot. Everyone listening is going to learn a lot. I'm curious to start out. Okay, also, if I say I'm curious one more time.
One more time!
Smack me. Someone.
All right.
It's a lot.
Should we play a drinking game? Ooh, too soon.
Too soon. No, honestly, today seems like a great day to get off the bandwagon. Let's just break 4 years of sobriety right now.
It's not bandwagon, it's just the wagon.
Let's do it, the wagon. All right. How did you get into all of this? Curiosity, or did something happen in your life where you were had to do more internal work?
Well, all of this, so my initial foray into paying attention to the body and stuff was just through being an insecure little boy, wanting to get jacked because I felt very uncomfortable in my body, in my frame. It's very tall, lanky, giraffe-y, highly crooked teeth, super sweet, bowl cut. That was kind of misaligned. My mom did it. Bless her heart, it's very sweet. Felt very, I was actually talking about this in I don't know where, podcast or something recently. At a workshop that I was teaching yesterday, and had a realization that since I was a little person, 4 or 5 years old, I always felt very insecure a little like ashamed, not really exactly sure what I'm ashamed of, very apart, like disconnected from things, going to family reunions and such, and just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. It seems like everybody else
Knows
is like fits in, knows what's going on, and like I like don't. My parents would like defend me and kind of like, oh, he's just like listening. He's like an observer. He's like paying, he's just like soaking up information. But I kind of had this realization recently of how much any person, all people are imprinted by their parents at a young age. So the suggestion is a child 0 to 2 is largely in a delta brainwave state. So that would be like sleep. And then when they go into age 3 to 6, around that time frame, they transition into more higher theta, which is more of a hypnotic state. Yeah. So what a person is experiencing as a young person, 0 to 7, is you're pretty much just being imprinted by the world around you.
Is there science on this?
Yeah,
on those ages?
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
And so what you're being imprinted by, like we think that we are communicating via language, and you think that your parents say, they take you to soccer practice, or they don't, or they tell you to eat your veggies, or they don't, or whatever. But what you're actually being imprinted upon is the state of their nervous system. And their state of their nervous system is being governed by emotional repressions or emotional freedom. And so if a person is holding on to a bunch of emotional baggage in the form of guilt, fear, resentment, insecurity, like any of that stuff, anything like shrinks your body, shrinks your energetic body, shrinks yourself, those are the things that those really super sensitive little telepathic sponges called kids are actually picking up on. And so, that's kind of like a side quest into insecurity, so I felt very insecure. Now as a 38-year-old person, I'm like very actively engaged in therapy, and like I would really like to actually feel all of the feelings and emotions and things that I have never felt safe to feel as a little person.
Yeah.
And so I went through a bunch of like weird, what would be like scary, uncomfortable things for like a young child. And I never cried growing up. That was like another realization. I was like, holy effing crap. Like, I don't think I ever cried. Other than one time I had a friend die. He was quite a bit older than me, and that like destroyed me, and I cried nonstop for like years. But that was about a death of someone, like things that would be very destabilizing and scary for a young boy.
And why do you think that is? Do you think it was because like your family environment, taught you wasn't safe to kind of express those emotions, or do you think that was more of like a societal thing, or your sort of own like intolerance with?
I think probably if I were to guess, it would be my parents they were very caring to me and very supportive and very, not that I care or need to defend them or anything, it's just the reality. They're very like, were pro Aaron and anything that I needed, and like super, super supportive and loving. And they're also, I'm really gathering information about the world and relationships and such based on kind of like the baseline of their autonomic tone.
Totally.
It's like how their system rides. And if there is resistance or fear around emotional vulnerability or things of the sort, like my dad he was abused by his mom. I think he kind of has been like quite like guarded in some ways growing up, and he had stuff with like addiction and alcoholism, and then like other drugs ended up being a thing. And then my mom had kind of like this like perfectionist type thing, a little bit like obsessively perfectionist. Everything has to be good. Everything looks good. Everything looks great.
Yeah.
So like that really gets imposed, I would deduce or guess, that would get imposed onto my little young self, and that like just falling apart, or any of that stuff, even though I'm told I can, and I consciously know that if I did, like if I came to my mom or dad and I was like crying or whatever, I know that they would be like amazing, they'd be all about it. But then there's like the unconscious part that's like, but it's like, it's not really safe to be fully authentic and fully vulnerable and fully yourself.
Yeah.
Just because it's just not what we really have learned in the house.
Yeah. Kind of brings me into like something I've noticed lately in my healing journey and looking at other people, which is sort of like this intellectualization of healing, where a lot of people start and they start going to talk therapy and they start understanding their patterns and like reading the books and underlining the books and posting the books on Instagram stories.
Yeah, it makes you sound good.
But like avoiding the actual like felt experience of healing and avoiding like the nervous system stuff, the somatics, feeling your feelings. Do you see that too?
I think it's more ephemeral, and it's a lot easier to look. We are raised in a culture that is very materialistic and deductive and rational and all of that. It feels easy to be able to explain an emotion, and to explain is like to flatten out, and so like to make plain, and emotions are very circular and dynamic and oceanic and that, and so I think a lot of it is a conflict and confusion of the culture that we're presently have been largely indoctrinated by, not like a conspiracy theory way. It just so happens that, you know, we've gone more towards like a Cartesian dualistic type realm, like everything, hold it in your hand, like that's real.
Yep.
That which cannot be seen just doesn't exist.
Everything's separate.
And now I feel like conversations like this are people are more, you know, maybe excited to have, because I feel like things move like a pendulum. So for a long time, there was a transition away from worshiping nature and mythology and living in round huts and living in round teepees and not locking your teepee door or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and things are kind of like in this flow, you know, and you're just in flow with nature. And then there's a transition into everything is pillars and everything is squares and everything's written in scrolls.
Yep.
And now it's like a worshiping of information and a worshiping of science, and anything that is not information written in a two-dimensional book or science is kind of like, I don't like it. It feels weird. It feels untrue. It feels like slippery. Like I'm not into that. And so there needs to be like a coming back to probably a way of being that probably just naturally happened at one point. Like you just naturally, like a dog.
Yeah.
When a dog feels away, if it's really excited, it'll shake itself out or run around. Look at like the zoomies, it'll run around the house.
Yeah.
You know, if it feels sad, it'll just start to cry.
Right.
Or animals in nature. It's like Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. It's a book by Robert Sapolsky. Do you know who he is at all? Oh, he's great. He's like probably like the most notable primatologist. He lived in Tanzania for like 30 years or 30 seasons, and a part of his research was why animals are able to relieve themselves of stress, because they just live in a natural way. When they feel stress come to the surface, they're just able to like
shake it out.
They'll shake it out, or
You
go
just,
hide
like-
under a bush. They'll like go through this kind of like cathartic release state, and humans kind of just like we just pack it in. And so going into, I think, trusting, it's almost like a new game. It's a very old game, but now it's like a new game where you're like, okay, like I'm going to go into like feeling terrain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what that means exactly.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this bullet point kind of checklist is. I'm holding it, look at that, cool, I can say the words, I got it. But to enter into the plane of feeling, I think especially for guys, it's scary because it's unknown.
Yeah, 100%. And I think an example that kind of grounds this that I was thinking about recently is like the Mel Robbins let them theory. It gets like passed everywhere. And I think a lot of people intellectually understand let them. Like you don't have control of other people's actions. Stay in your lane. People intellectually get that. But when they're in a situation where they actually need to practice that, it's like the felt emotions don't change. Like you feel the tensing in your body, you feel the like discomfort within yourself, and that's where this work really matters, because in those moments you need to learn how to regulate your nervous system to take aligned action.
You don't need to.
Well, you should.
You shouldn't.
Okay.
You could.
I mean, maybe you want a better life, right?
Yeah,
To some extent.
whatever. I'm a bit particular with language. It doesn't mean that my particularity
That's fine,
is right or wrong.
Yeah.
But the idea of placing a I need to do this, I think creates more rigidity.
Yeah.
And creates more of like if I don't do this, then I'm a bad person, or I put more shame or guilt or
That's true.
judgment on myself because I need to do this.
Right.
Or even worse than that would be like, I should do this. So it's like, to me, in my body, when I hear I need to do this or I should do this, to me it creates kind of like a little bit more of like a closing and attention and a judgment, and a little bit of like a double bind type thing. And then if I can do this, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like I don't need to push myself into the thing. I don't need to like shame myself into the thing. It's like, this will actually improve every aspect of my life. Like, and I get to do this. So I think it's very different than placing the label or idea of like, I need to. And sometimes maybe there is some stuff that you need to do, but I think language is very impactful in like subtle ways that we might not necessarily always detect. But if you feel into it,
that's fair.
I think it's
That's fair. But it does lead to a more like calmer existence, I think, in general.
yeah, I get to do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what life do you want to create?
Right.
So everything is an invitation, everything is optionality, everything is possibility. So if you live a life where you are living in an alley and you are smoking some kind of drug that's not good for your mitochondria or whatever,
Yep. Mitochondria.
you know,
Yeah.
if that's what you want, if you are consciously desiring that for yourself, who am I or anyone else in your world to judge your soul's path to go and live that life?
Yeah.
I was with a buddy who he owns a yoga studio here in Miami. Super sweet dude. And I like led a little like class thing. at the yoga studio. And then afterwards I was in his car, and in the back, he had all of these, like, the worst kinds of donuts and the worst kind of, like, candies, like, all, like, the worst stuff you could possibly get from Safeway.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't have judgment. I was, like, joking. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah. Like, really?
And I'm just, because I don't care.
Yeah.
It's his own life, his own body, or whatever.
Well, that's what I noticed is, like, I feel like when you first start on all of this, because of the growth that you do, there is an aspect of judgment towards other people not growing at the same rate. And I feel like I'm transitioning now more into a place of, like, love with it and understanding why somebody actually wouldn't want to explore their traumas, because it's really fucking hard.
I think it's hilarious. I was so excited. He had all of the, like, the opposite of what he know, should, quote unquote, do, like the worst. And to me, where the conversation went, which I thought was, like, fun and true, is just like, is this something that you are consciously doing? If you're going to smoke your vape pen, or you're going to eat some freaking snickerdoodle, whatever, can you do that without also scrolling social media, without also kind of mindlessly watching some YouTube video? Maybe you don't even have music on. Like, I'm going to consciously sit down and have my hydrogenated snickerdoodle with, like, the...
And mindfully enjoy
and I'm like, I am getting down with this.
Yeah.
Can I sit down and smoke my vape?
And own it.
And really, like, I choose the vape.
Because it's the self-judgment where you get in trouble. It's like the dissonance between, like, I shouldn't be doing this and I am doing this, versus just, like, fully owning your decision.
Yeah, there's probably something that you enjoy about the judgment, enjoy about the naughtiness, enjoy about, like, the sabotage, enjoy, like, there's something that you're choosing about that.
Yeah.
So can you lean in and, like, cool, like, I truly am the creator of my reality. I am the manifester of all the things. And I choose the bubblegum vape.
Right. I choose the Orbit gum.
Yeah. Or am I actually a slave to this moment? And this is actually, I'm just operating on unconscious habits and patterns. And I, like the higher version of myself, the integrated adult self, isn't even in the room. So the integrated adult self, not in the room, and I'm here, this gremlin.
Yeah, just dopamine.
If that is the case, me as your friend, I'm here and open to, like, have a conversation about that.
Right.
Because if you're making an action through unconsciousness, that's interesting. It seems like something to reflect on. Or are you consciously eating the snickerdoodle Twinkie bits or whatever?
Yeah.
And if you are, I like so love that for you. I think it's great.
Right. For people that are just sort of starting in this world, how do they, this is a very big question,
What?
I love the little levitation, how their kind of, like, unconscious patterns are affecting their life? Because a lot of people are very not aware. And
You'd probably just find where there's tension in your life. Do you feel, like, anxiety? Do you feel any sensation that causes a closing? So if there's a part, do you feel shame in your life? Do you feel a rigidity around money, around relationships? Is there, like, selfishness that pops up in you? Is there anything that causes the way that you feel when you are maybe at a wedding, maybe you had a couple drinks, and you, like, finally work up the balls to dance?
Yeah.
You know, or the labia to dance or whatever. Well, you're like, oh
that.
yeah, like
Uncomfortable.
I'm feeling myself. You know, like, you're like, yes, like, you're present. It's like life is moving through you. Everything feels open.
Yeah.
If you are feeling in that state, like where you're feeling, you know, pretty open and pretty at ease, and you can notice your breath, you know, that would be a really great place to start as far as, like, something that's more objective. Because noticing if I have anxiety or whatever might be still a little bit in the quantum, you know, a little bit, like, less grounded. But something you could come back to, something that's, like, very tangible, would just be notice the way that you breathe. And so if you breathe light and slow and deep, like, there's, like, the coherence breathing, or, like, the perfect breath would be around, like, 5 to 6 second inhales and 5 to 6 second exhales.
On a daily constant basis?
Well, nothing's constant. Everything changes based off of what you're doing. But your baseline.
Wow, that's a long inhale, exhale.
It's not that long. Yeah, it's also how the way you breathe when you're singing a mantra or any of that stuff, when you're, like, going through and doing that. A lot of, like, the spiritual stuff and religious stuff is just health practices baked into some type of like, religious text.
Totally. So going back a little bit, what happens in our bodies over time if we do not process through our feelings, like guilt, shame, anxiety, from our childhood. What happens when all that gets stuck in our body?
My belief is any type of unprocessed emotion or feeling is like a energetic debt on your body. The analogy that I use for this that I came up with like a few days ago, so we'll see how it goes, is like anytime you have a repressed emotion, some type of quote unquote trauma. So you'd have to define trauma. Trauma is a word that gets thrown out around a lot. For the sake of this conversation that I'm defining right now, trauma would just be any type of emotion that you did not feel safe to feel through at some point. Some feeling came up, and you're like, I don't feel resourced, I don't feel safe, this isn't appropriate, I just don't know how, are they going to judge me?
Yep.
I'm going to not feel this right now. Trauma.
Yeah.
So now you're holding that in your system. So you need to release that charge that you gathered as a perfectly healthy response to whatever felt threatening in that situation.
Right.
So you hold that charge.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So that charge, to make it more materialistic and like objectified, is if you are going to cry, but you don't feel like it's safe to cry, crying is like, it's like, not. But if you feel not safe to cry, you'll probably you'll like tense up your diaphragm, or you'll tense up your jaw a little bit. You'll like squeeze, maybe you can tense your hands. Kind of like, you kind of like, you literally, it's like you physically, you feel like you're doing like the strong thing.
Right.
You know, like I'm martyring myself for everyone else around so they don't have to feel the weight that I hold. Super bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking of,
But you don't want to be like too soft either as a guy.
But
like there's value in having structure 100%. And value in being like, okay, like right now, literally we're out on a sailboat and the sailboat's sinking.
Right.
And like it broke in half. We hit an iceberg. You know, and now is not the time for me to feel my feels.
Inappropriate.
Now is the time to take action, get this done, and then note that there was probably a lot of scary feelings that arose during that.
Right.
And that is a part of like the masculine container of saying, okay, like let's kind of bookmark that, but we're going to come back as a family or a team or a tribe tomorrow, next day, a week later, be like, what was that?
What we felt. Yeah.
Right now we don't feel that.
Right. Yeah.
Compartmentalization, great.
At some point, it needs to be processed because what happens is, like, I can imagine as anybody, you're shoving all that shit down. It's creating like physical issues. It's probably creating anger issues.
Yeah, create all that stuff. So my analogy that I think is fine. We'll see if, what your thoughts are on it. It's like that is spending money on a credit card. So every time you have some type of traumatic situation, if it was a big trauma, depending on your relationship to money, call that was like $10,000. You're like, oof, that was like pretty good. Like we can get that back, but like that was a meaningful debt that we accrued on our credit card. Now you're paying back 23% interest,
That's a good analogy.
And so now it's like, okay, cool. This debt, it stays. It's on the ledger, and you're paying back 23% interest. That 23% interest is the energy that it pulls on your life force all the time.
Yeah.
And now you say, okay, cool, but I'm going to get that back. Maybe I have like a little moment. Maybe I did a Kundalini class, Got into feels a little bit. I paid off $3,000 in that $10,000 debt.
Yeah.
Like I feel a little lighter. There's still $7,000. Right. And you're still paying interest. So it's still a weight and baggage that you carry in your life. And then another trauma happened. There's a bigger one. There's like, ooh, I really had a breakup, or maybe had some abusive relationship thing, whatever the thing is. It's like $25,000 debt. And I am way too scared to even touch that debt. Like when I feel into that debt, it just, the amount of pain and sensation, like I think I'm going to die if I feel that.
Away from it.
I am going to fully repress and disassociate and block that off as though that never happened. Perfect. Love that for you as a strategy. Now you're paying 23% interest on $32,000. Every day that's pulling on your life force a little bit more and more and more.
And to ground it for people that don't understand what life force means.
Just the way you feel, your vibes.
The way you feel. Yeah, how the rest of your life is.
Yeah, you say like ATP or something, but like, sometimes when you're around somebody, they've got bags under their eyes, they feel kind of just like, it almost have like this like gravity. Or it's almost like they pull energy.
Yeah, like a black
Like I feel tired when I'm around that person. They smell a little stinky. It's like, particularly one of their armpits, only one.
Can't. My life force energy is great.
Yeah. That's an inside thing. You want to tell your people about your armpits?
Oh, yeah. My armpit situation is that one. My armpit situation is that when I get stressed or anxious, only one of my armpits sweats and smells. The other one is like perfectly clean. It's really hot.
Feel like you have any trauma? It's really hot. It's hot here.
But you know what, actually, I just connected to this. My first experience with my body holding trauma was, I think it was 6 years ago after a breakup that I went through. The breakup wasn't particularly like traumatic or anything. It was a long relationship, so it like mentally kind of ended. But when I went to Mexico after on my little healing retreat, obviously, I got a massage and she
Why you belittle it?
pressed. What?
Why do you belittle it?
What did I say?
Your little healing retreat.
My little healing retreat?
Yeah, you went on my
It was a really
goddamn
important.
Mac Daddy healing retreat.
Yeah.
I went in.
I went in.
This
I
bitch
needed
goes in.
7 days of classes. 7 days of classes. So I was in this massage and she pressed on this one part of my back on the right side.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling sad before that. I just immediately started crying. And I had to like sit up and take like 10 minutes to just sob because I had something that she had, I guess you're the bodywork person, but like an area of my body that was holding emotion.
Yeah.
And apparently the right side of the body is
score.
related to masculinity. So maybe my right armpit is going to stop
that's
smelling.
that's why you got that.
And I fully heal.
Wow. It's not that it smells. I think,
I think
it
it's
just
completely
diffuses
unrelated.
moisture.
Yes, it's completely unrelated.
Yeah, that's chill.
I like to find explanations.
Yeah. Why is it then when you poke on certain parts in the body, certain types of emotions are released? I don't know. I mean, I've read a lot of different books, and
Yeah.
you could go to like Alexander Cohen's work, bioenergetics is a path with that. Wilhelm Reich has done stuff with that. He called it orgone therapy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different descriptions of all that. Left side is feminine, right side is masculine. So I do rolfing and body work and such with people, and I have for the last while. And that is something that very commonly will happen if we're working around the hips, if we're working around the abdomen, working around like armpits, ribs, diaphragm, throat. Very common there will be experiences where people have like emoting
Yeah.
tied to that. I don't personally tie any definition or projection of gallbladder stuff. This is your great grandpa.
Yeah.
Liver stuff, for sure anger.
Right.
I'm kind of just
Yeah.
like, cool, like what feels true to you in this moment? And then also sometimes I will use those different like heuristics as, it's kind of like astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you give me my astrological chart, I'm like, cool, sweet. Like it sounds really accurate, so
Yeah.
I love that, I'll use that. But I wouldn't be too tied to this exact point in the
Exactly.
body. But my opinion on that could change someday.
But it's kind of the same thing as like how stored emotions can cause disease, right? So it's sort of just that the energy is kind of like.
So stored
living in your
emotions,
body.
repressed emotions translate to tension and holding.
Tension.
Holding translates to stasis. Stasis translates to damming up of the circulation of lymphatic fluid, the circulation of all of like the currents through your body.
Yeah.
Your nervous system being able to circulate, blood being able to circulate, venous, like blood back to the heart, perhaps pulling up, being blocked up. If you have stasis or damming or restriction or dehydration or agglomeration or whatever word you want to have, agglomeration is a fancy word for like gluing, matting together, then the flow of all of the fluids that make up you, i.e. your life force, they get blocked at that point.
Right.
So when they get blocked at that point, what happens if you block a river or block a pond? The pond will start to, as in like block like the waterfall maker for the pond, it'll start to get stagnant and potential, it'll get murky, it might be not as healthy for the fish, like it starts to become a more toxic place. And so the more that you hold on to in the form of anything, but in this case, emotional, repressed tension, the more places in your body that you just you tense up a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then you can start to come to a point, and this is like the Wilhelm Reich character armoring or physical armoring, you'll come to a point where you start to believe that you are your tension.
Right.
And so now you are living in your ego. And so ego isn't, it's just whatever. Ego is just that part of you that kind of like projects itself and holds itself in the world.
Yeah.
It's perfectly great. Amazing tool. Can you be in right relation with your ego, i.e. kind of like, I don't know if I agree with this, the ego is the immune system, but think of that posturing and the tension that you might hold as you walk into the room and shoulders back and,
Yeah.
pop the booty out, and
Yeah.
if you're a girl in New York, you might wear like a suit thing with like shoulders that are raised up and,
Yep.
all of this different kind of armoring that we have to project ourselves into something that's not exactly us, but it's who we
Think that the
project
world-
ourselves to be. It's who
Yeah.
we think the world will love and respect. It's who we think the world will receive. So we want to be received.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of hold ourselves and contort ourselves into the perfect position that we perceive the world to love. It's not true. It's not authentic. It's just a story of what we think the world will love. If you can trick the world into loving that story, now you have a bunch of inauthentic relationships. So now you are inviting the next person to also be unauthentic, unless you get someone that's really comfortable with themselves. That would be like a Christ consciousness type figure that just heals the world just from them being around.
Yeah.
So I think that Christ, my feeling is Christ probably was just a dude that like released his baggage to the degree that he's just this essence of authenticity. And when you're around someone that truly is not holding baggage, it creates an invitation for the rest of the world to just, I say like put it down. You just put it down.
Yeah, that's the kind of the mind-blowing thing to realize that we all have the Christ consciousness within us, and the people that kind of awaken everyone else to their own armor or their own shadows are like mirrors in a way, and that can be either an invitation to grow or trigger you beyond,
It could be super
being able
triggering
to be near that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think something that happens that's really destabilizing is when you start to lay the armor down and you start to do that inner work, everything around, at least in my experience, my outer world needed to shift. When you start doing that work, you need to be ready to make changes, because oftentimes our career is built on the way that we think we need to present in order to get validation. Or the relationship we're in is, oh, this person's hot and like presents really well, so that'll look good for the outside world. Or like you're carrying all of your family's baggage, but it might mean that your relationship with your family needs to change.
You've built up this would be, I think, what would be like an ego death. So you've built up this entire world since you were, whatever age, like before you were living kind of maybe more like unawake or unconscious. And so you were living in the belief system that the armoring that you hold and the tension that you hold and the stories that you have that bolster and hold that tension in the world, you actually believe that that is who you are at a core fundamental level. And so every relationship, every choice, that the car that you chose to buy, the color of the walls in your house, the girlfriend that you have or have not, the business that you're in, the amount of money that you have or don't have, like the credit cards you choose, like all of the different things in your world, postural patterns, the way that you walk into the room, the way that you listen or don't listen, the language that you choose, the tone of your voice, the pacing of your language, every facet of your identity structure is based around potentially this thing that's actually totally inauthentic to like your core fundamental self, maybe. And if you're in that place, it can be freaking very costly to have like a true ego death, because suddenly that will start to cause all of those kind of fractals that you have tied to who you thought you were to start to fall away.
Yeah.
And that's why oftentimes people, if they go through some type of like spiritual path, historically speaking, they'll go through like a kind of like an extreme like ascetic minimalism type place where it's like, I'm like literally everything is falling away. I don't want the car, I don't want the shoes, I don't want the house, I don't want the, any of that stuff. And I just want to just have as much clearing of I want to get rid of all of my clothes, and I'm just going to kind of like I'm going to choose from this new version of my consciousness that wasn't tied to all of the baggage of the past.
And I wonder your perspective too on like, do you think there are certain people that are divinely shoved into this? Because I went through something really interesting where like the last 7-8 years of my life, I built this huge online education business, very much got my sense of self, quote unquote, from like the outside validation of how much money I was making and how I was perceived in the business world and what relationship I was in. And like perfectly timed last year, like the relationship I was in fell apart. My career fell apart after 7 years of making a consistently good amount of money. It just fell apart. And it was sort of like, and I do like see an intuitive and all of that stuff. And it was sort of like the divine, or I don't know, my spirit team was literally like, we're taking away everything external that you rely on for a false sense of safety. And it like stripped me down, like on a soul level, to like nothing. To have to like get really quiet with myself and be like, who the fuck are you? Because you weren't any of this. And then rebuilding that and rediscovering and leaning on spirituality and building a life that truly feels like me. And it's been a ride, but I wonder if you think there are certain people that are meant to do this work at some point and they're always kind of being divinely led there.
I think it depends on one's belief on like incarnation and such is. My tendency is to intuitively feel like probably we've had a lot of lifetimes.
I agree.
And likely this is just me guessing. I don't really have like a confident, but I like thinking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people are at a point in their consciousness that's been around for a long time in many, many lifetimes, or maybe less lifetimes, where it's kind of like, oh, you're actually kind of coming to a point of like genuinely tapping into some type of like samadhi type thing or bodhisattva type thing. So samadhi being like release of all of the, I think like samsara could be I'm not samskaras is means impressions. And so that's all like the emotional holdings and pretty much traumas. That's like samskara is like a Sanskrit word for trauma, which it translates to impression, like imprint that you hold on to. I think I might be wrong about that. Isn't samsara like the no, but I think samsara is like the dream.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's all words. I'm just kind of using that as like a way to describe. But a person could be at a point in their broader lifespan where it's kind of like, yeah, you're coming in on like graduation time here, bro.
Time to yeah.
Like
time to ascend, whether you like it or
you're
not.
actually like this. I know that you think you're Bilbo Baggins from Nantucket, but like your ascendant, self-actualized, like true high Christ consciousness self, you're kind of like coming into that, and it's going to probably be uncomfortable, and shit is probably going to fall apart, and you're probably going to go on a hero's journey, and everything is going to burn away, and you're going to come in, there's probably going to be dragons to fight, and you're going to have to jump into like the mouth of the dragon, and you're going to have to face your fears, and you're going to go on this whole entire like mythological tale, and you're going to come out the other side, and you will be potentially like a conduit of truth and healing for the world. And maybe that is the path of like every person ultimately, but for some people it's like, oh yeah, in like 200 lifetimes you'll be a little closer.
Yeah, I know you exactly.
You know, like right now, like you are just snickerdoodles,
make money,
and
and
bubblegum vape, and make money, and get hoes, and get rims, and just fucking vibe out, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Just vibe out, bro.
Just vibe out.
There's
get
no
the
rush.
Crypto, get the Lambo, get the girl.
There is no rush. There's no rush.
At some point, you're going to come back and
at some point, you'll be like, oh my
cliff.
God, I don't care about any of this.
Literally.
And it's exactly perfect.
Oh my gosh.
There's no rush.
There's literally no rush. It's just going to be 5 lifetimes from now.
Whatever.
Just float.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine.
Because the truth is that like on the other end, it is the best thing I've ever been through, because the way I experience and like feel life is so different, but it's devastating in a lot of ways too. So it's like, be careful what you wish for, honestly, with a lot of this stuff, is my opinion.
Yeah, you might have to like knock down your whole ass house in order to like build like a new structure that feels more true to this, not even new version of you, just like more authentic version of you.
Authentic version, yeah.
And then maybe there's even another authentic version after that, and then another one after that, and you're gonna knock down another fucking house.
Ongoing. Yeah. Rebuilding my little hut in nature.
Yeah, it's fine.
With my open door.
Yeah, and usually the houses will probably, I think that they probably oscillate in and out of like simplicity to complexity. The tendency is, in my personal experiences, I go into like overdoing it with complexity and accruing stuff and things, and like, man, I'd love to have like a whole house, and I want to have furniture, and so this is gonna represent who I am, and I'm gonna get this car, and like I want to get a dog, and I'm like, this is like, stuff, and then the tendency is to be like, oh my God, I'm like suffocating in stuff.
Yeah.
All I want is just freedom. Kind of go through this kind of like, cycle.
Totally. I noticed there's a parallel there also with like people trying to do like all of the wellness things. Like, I have to meditate. I got to do the cold plunge. I got to journal. And it's like this very masculine approach to like presence.
Just change it to I get to. Change everything.
Change it to I get to?
Just change the internal feeling or the language of I get to.
Yeah.
What do you get to do? Because if you have to do something, then you're just burdened with the tension of all the shit that you think you have to do, which is actually creating tension in the body, which is actually stifling your healing or stifling your ability to sleep very deeply, or stifling your ability to be in a deep parasympathetic autonomic tone so your body can rest and digest and heal and produce more testosterone and feed your mitochondria and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you are holding on to baggage of what you should do, if you're like, I am going to live to be 500 years old, I can't die.
Injecting myself with peptides.
Whatever. It's like if you can't, like, don't die, like you are cursing yourself with all of the tension and all of the death stuff.
Yeah.
Don't die.
Because you're coming back.
How does that feel in your body? Like,
Not good.
don't die. Like, I'm in the don't die community.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of fear in it. There's a lot of like contractive in it.
Yeah.
And so what that would end up doing, it's like if you are driving, if you're riding a horse or riding a motorcycle or whatever, and you want to go around a post sticking out of the ground, you don't look at the effing post.
Right.
You look around the post. So if I don't die is my goal, What you're doing is you're just looking right at the dye post. And so you're creating all the inflammatory markers and the cortisol and all the stress and the
all the
tension
energy's
and the
going
blocking.
towards
And
that
you're just
focus.
bringing yourself into that. What if you kind of shifted up your language and you're like, what do I get to do? Oh, I get to live. How about I get to live?
Yeah.
I feel things in my body. I don't know if everybody feels that way. I think everyone does, but I feel things very distinctly in my body. Like I can like do like muscle testing in a way. I don't actually do muscle testing, but you know, like the idea of when you think about a lie, you
Yep.
become like a little weaker. If you think about
Yep.
something true, you become a little stronger.
Or like the sway.
I don't like do that with people or whatever, but I notice that in myself. If I'm looking into a fridge, my fridge, and it's like 11:30 at night and I'm reaching out to eat something that I'll do sometimes is I'll eat like nut butter, and I'll put like nut butter and I'll put like some butter and I'll put that on a apple or whatever, and I'll notice if it's late at night, my body does quite well with fruit, but adding the nut butter and the other stuff and all that, it's like kind of like heavy and a lot before going to bed.
Yeah.
And I personally can feel as I reach out for certain things, just my body will go like a little bit more like,
Yeah.
it's a little like,
100%. I know
ugh,
what you mean. Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
Don't like that as much. But then I'll reach out for the, just the apple, and my body's like, this is chill.
Yeah.
Like I feel pretty like neutral to good. And then maybe I'll reach out for the blackberries. My body's like, this is good.
Well, that's a superpower of having, this is good.
This is good.
Of having like a regulated nervous system is that you do become so much more attuned to like even thinking about, if you're trying to make a decision, like thinking about option A, noticing how your body feels with it, thinking about option B. But it's like you have to get to a place of.
And you have to trust your body.
Watch my language.
Very few people. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm plaguing you with language. But you have to come. Well, you don't have to, but you get to come to a place of trusting your body, which for a lot of people, myself included, is very challenging. The idea of trusting your intuition or trusting what your body has to say instead of trusting the government or
FDA.
Yeah, the FDA, or it's just someone else knows what the hell's going on here, because I don't. I am a child. I want daddy and mommy to support me. I know I'm 40, but like I still want daddy and mommy to like tell me what the heck to do, because I know that I do not have agency in this world, and it seems like way too much responsibility in order to actually put that agency in myself.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will subconsciously not trust my body. I've never really allowed myself to do that.
Yeah.
I'll wait for someone else to tell me what to do. And so to come back into like, maybe you know better. It's like, sounds almost like that could be like blasphemy for some people. And maybe you grew up in such a way that perhaps your parents felt insecure. Maybe the teachers that you had in elementary school felt kind of insecure, and they didn't want you to feel empowered.
Right.
They didn't want you to be Jake Paul and make videos and be an entrepreneur. And they had their own stories as a probably an individual, if they're stifling the growth of a child and the child has a dream or something that like really lights them up, and the parent or teacher is shaming them or doing something like that to kind of like keep them out of like being in what makes that kid feel alive, very likely that teacher is projecting their own baggage of failure onto that kid.
Right, exactly.
It's like that kid might be the next Steve Jobs. That kid might be the next Jake Paul. And you are a 55-year-old, middle school teacher that doesn't really like his job.
Yeah.
And you're imposing all of your hurt and pain and resentment and all that stuff onto this sweet little 12-year-old boy right now. We've got to be careful with who we allow in, I think.
Yeah, and this maybe is controversial, but I also feel like religion to a certain extent as well. There's so much about religion that is great. Just having a higher power in general, the community aspect, a lot of the value system is great, but it does kind of take the power away from you as an individual to a certain extent. Do you agree with that?
Oh, what takes power away from you as an individual?
Religious institutions.
Well, they can.
Have religious kind of trauma where you, not even trauma, just grow up in a way learning like, this is how I am good in the eyes of the Lord. These are the rules.
Yeah.
It kind of pulls you away from your own internal kind of agency and intuition.
If the religions have been co-opted by people seeking to create division and greed and power.
Yeah.
So I think that most true prophets, such as Christ or Buddha or Krishna or Allah or like any of that stuff, they would be individuals that would not really give a dang about whether you followed them or not. It's not a part of there's not a push-pull thing. There's just is. And they're so deep and true in their isness, they can trust just the resonance of things, of how the world works. And it's just like, you're welcome to come. You're welcome to go. It's like the opposite of a cult. We're not going to shame you if you leave.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need to sell you on
right.
here. I don't need to possess you.
Yeah.
I don't need you to even change at all. I don't need anything from you. We are here in this, and you're welcome to participate. And I think that probably that's what a lot of religions and like prophets and such would probably start off as. And then over time, they probably get co-opted by people.
I want to get into like the main kind of part of your work, which is breath. So you posted something, I was on your Instagram today, just stalking away, and you posted something in your caption that said, your breath is the remote control to your nervous system. Can you explain that and explain why breath is the way into healing all of this?
Well, it's the way into like softening. It's like a vehicle into the autonomic and then into the feels. The way that a person is breathing. So break down like kind of like a sciencey bit. There's a thing called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. And what respiratory sinus arrhythmia is the way that your heart beats when you inhale versus when you exhale. And also what happens with the activation of your vagus nerve when you inhale versus when you exhale.
Explain vagus nerve.
Vagus nerve is the nerve, it's called the vagrant or vagabond, like wandering nerve. It's the biggest nerve in the body, and it innervates most of the organs in the body. 80% of the nerve pathways are moving from the guts, from the viscera, to the brain. So they're afferent instead of efferent, which is sending information from the brain down to the body. And so your body is receiving or sending a tremendous amount of information to the brain, saying this is what's happening in the body. I think the belief for a lot of people would probably make more sense that the brain is like commanding the body on all the things and what to do and sending all the information down. So the vagus nerve, biggest nerve in the body, 80% of the nerve pathways are afferent, meaning they're sending information from the organs up to the brain about how to, find homeostasis and find, how to inhabit the self.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. When the vagus nerve is activated and there is healthy tone of the vagus nerve, then you are going to have healthy activation of the organs. And you'll be able to rest, and you'll be able to digest, and you'll be able to repair and all of that. Every time you inhale, you are accelerating the pace of your heart rate. So I inhale, my diaphragm is descending, right? So I'm stretching open space in my intrathoracic cavity are sending this signal. And there's also more venous blood flow coming back because there's more space in here. Bigger chamber, more venous blood flow comes back in to fill the vacuum. Heart rate goes, ooh, let's go faster, because we got a lot more fluid coming in here right now. It is also going to decrease the activity of the vagus nerve. So inhale, fast heart rate, reduced activity of vagus nerve. So you're like in like go mode. And also something interesting about when you inhale, it causes your brain to be more easily imprinted with information. So it activates the amygdala and the hippocampus and probably other structures too. But do you know why that would be? Why that would make sense that when you inhale, you are more inclined to remember information?
I don't know.
What happens if you get surprised? What happens if you get scared? What happens if you get suddenly...
There's some part of your brain that like shuts.
No, what happens with your breath?
Oh, my breath it stops.
Nope. So if I came up and I grabbed you, right, and you were walking down the street,
you had your breathing.
You would go.
Oh, okay, quicken.
So you do a quick.
Got it. And
brain.
then you lose perception of what's happening in your actual reality.
Well, maybe you might disassociate depending upon what your like strategy is, depending on how severe how severe the situation is.
Yeah.
So that inhalation is teeing up your brain, your physiology to say, ooh, this seems really, really important. Super remember the imprint of that person's face when they reached out and tried to grab my purse.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't ever want that to happen. If I ever see that person again, I'll be almost traumatized by the imprint or the samskara of that person's face. It's now, boom, imprint. So I imprint with my breath.
Yeah.
And then when I exhale, because the person was actually a friend, they're making a joke. They're not actually stealing my purse. They're totally chill. I go, ah, you asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Fucking Aaron.
That's you're now releasing, you're purging. And so now you're stimulating the activation of your vagus nerve. You are slowing down the rate of your heart. So the diaphragm is now ascending. It's coming back up. Intrathoracic space gets smaller, less venous blood flow. Venous is like return to the heart. So the heart also slows down the pace because there's less fluid coming in there. And so greater activation of the vagus nerve, reduced heart rate brings you into a more parasympathetic tone. Parasympathetic, rest, digest, heal, repair, all that stuff. Menstruate if you're a gal. Inhale, more sympathetic executive function, get her done, fight, flight. If it's really scary, maybe freeze, disassociate, repress. So you have the power to begin to regulate the autonomic operating system that your consciousness is housed in through the way that you breathe. And so if you're with someone who is anxious, then the way that they will breathe, if you just start to notice this, will be fast. If you're with someone that, and they're probably stuck on their inhalation, and the ribs can actually get stuck in chronic external rotation, chronic extension, which is kind of like this, like proud, like say it with your chest. Kind of position. So if you're saying it with your chest, that's more of like a sympathetic saying it with my chest. I'm kind of sticking myself in that inhalatory pattern. If I am totally relaxed, I'm allowing my ribs to internally rotate, to flex down. Now suddenly I'm able to access the totality of my diaphragm, because the diaphragm's like a plunger, and you want that plunger to be kind of like flat and like synced up with the ground. If you lift an edge of the plunger, i.e. you lift yourself into chronic like overextension, that plunging mechanism isn't going to be as effective. There's not like suction.
Right.
That it has a relationship with your pelvic floor and your hips. That has a relationship with your knees, with your feet, with your shoulders, with the top of your head. So if you can come in and start to stack the layers of your body, you have better pressure dynamics to the body. And now the body can start to heal as a product of its relationship to gravity kind of pushing down on it, and it equally pushes out. The body ought to be pushing out in all directions kind of equally. So when you're taking a breath, I realize I'm going a little bit in the weeds. When you're taking a breath, the idea of like belly breathing is bullshit. The idea of chest breathing is a thing that you will do if you're kind of stressed out. What you want to do is you want to three-dimensionally breathe. So what you can do that is you can bring your hands along the bottoms of your lower ribs and allow the ribs to slightly kind of almost like tuck down towards the hips a bit, and just start to visualize the bottom of your ribs, like your diaphragm. Start to bring awareness into your diaphragm just with your breath and your hands and bottom ribs. Start to feel the feedback of that breath moving into the sides of the ribs. Start to feel the feedback of the breath moving into the back of the ribs. Start to feel it moving in the front of the ribs. And really feel it like pushing out against the sides of your hands. If that's hard for you, it's an indication that your nervous system's probably been like wound up for a while, and you're like, I don't even know how to breathe in a calm way. And so that stack of the respiratory diaphragm now also on top of the pelvis and the pelvic floor is like another diaphragm. And so when you are breathing in and the respiratory diaphragm is descending, the pelvic floor is also going to be opening a little bit. And then when you exhale, the pelvic floor can now recede and the diaphragm can ascend, and you're going through this really amazing pumping cycle. It's how you circulate lymphatic fluid. It's how you circulate, life energy, I would say, just all of the fluids, all of the energies through the body. That's how you do it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I have a friend that was struggling with, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something with her pelvic floor, and she was experiencing like a lot of issues in sex, and she saw this one doctor, it was like a functional medicine doctor, and worked with her mainly on her anxiety. And as her anxiety, like as she had more tools and regulated herself, the pelvic floor issues resolved themselves as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Physical
Everything
armory.
is connected. So for the people that feel like they're holding on to a lot of emotional tension, how do you use breath, like tactically, as a way in for them to start releasing some of this stuff? Is it like a breathwork class they could go to, or something they can do at home to start feeling safe, or just some tactical tools?
Emphasize your exhalation. You could start doing breath holds as just a practice. That will cause you to be less sensitive to carbon dioxide. So when you have the inclination to breathe, it's a buildup of carbon dioxide in your brainstem, area called your medulla oblongata. Do you ever see The Waterboy? Do you know what The Waterboy is?
I think I've heard of it.
It's Adam Sandler, football player. He's like retarded.
Yeah. I think
You ever seen this?
I was too young.
Oh, you're too young. How old are you?
Yeah, 32. But like I went through this
in
thing.
your time frame.
I know, but my parents wouldn't let me see PG-13 movies till I was like 16.
Oh.
Which backfired.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Anyways, in that movie, there's a medulla oblongata reference that I'm not going to reference because you don't understand. But it's in that movie. It's why alligators get ornery. It's a whole thing. Anyways, so you process. Yeah, exactly. It's fine. So you process carbon dioxide in that area, brainstem, and if you are very sensitive to carbon dioxide, even a little bit builds up in your bloodstream, your body says, "Oh, I gotta get another breath." Oh, okay, and then CO2 starts to build. Okay, oh. So you're in that place of like super sensitivity to CO2 which puts you into a self-perpetuating cycle of over-breathing, which puts you into a cycle of having immune dysfunction, of chronically feeling stressed, chronic release of excessive stress-related hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, all those different things. So if you're in your life, like, you are panicked.
Yeah.
And you're making everybody around you panic. Your kids are uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your boyfriend's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Your nervous
Like, you
system
literally, you make
causes
everybody
problems.
uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because you're uncomfortable. And you're not able to look at it. You're not able to see it. But your physiology, it's like written all over your physiology.
Right.
And you literally are sending out these vibes to the world of anxiety. You're like, anxiety vibes, anxiety vibes,
Yeah.
anxiety vibes.
Yeah.
People are like, I don't know what we're so anxious about, but fuck, I feel like some effed up stuff's about to happen for sure. Because if not, why would she be breathing like that?
I don't know what I'm worried about, but I'm worried.
I am worried. Do you see the way this girl's breathing?
Oh my god! And then they don't realize too that they're just contracting like more
More
bullshit.
stuff. You are the creator of your reality.
Yes.
Whatever you think and say,
Yeah.
comes to be true. You like that's the manifestation.
101.
But manifestation doesn't need to be like frou-frou malarkey.
No.
Like, it can be very real. Like, that is a
Yes.
very real thing. So if you are a person that operates in a place of panic, scarcity, all the different things, I gotta get, oh my God, I'm surprised. Oh, I gotta get this from you. And you find out that, wow, like, I'm pushing the world away and suddenly I have less. Nobody wants to be around me. I feel alone. I feel apart. I feel disconnected. I feel, like I lost that job. Oh my God.
Right.
Of course. Like, I'm confirmed in my
Yeah.
beliefs.
Yeah.
Because you are this resonance in the form of, just to keep it out of words like resonance, just like the way you freaking breathe freaks people out. And then there's another version of breathing which will affect the tone of your voice. It will affect the pacing of the way that you speak. It will subtly be affecting the way that other people breathe and the way that because we're always attuning to each other. We're attuning to each other's mannerisms. So you mentioned the girl power guest person that you had on here before. Her personality and demeanor is very different than mine. One's not better, one's not worse. They're just different flavors.
Totally.
You probably feel different talking to me than you
Right.
feel talking to her.
Yeah.
Probably there's something nice about the feeling with her. With her, you probably feel like, I got like my girl boss pants on, like we're going to conquer the world. Like, I like this feeling. Give me that energy, girl.
Let's make some fucking money.
Let's make that money.
Yeah.
And with me, I don't know how you feel, but it's probably
No,
not. It's probably not like that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a great persona in order to get that job done.
Yes.
Persona means mask. I have a mask too. You can't the mask is always there, and so each mask is a good tool for certain things.
And that's also why I feel like people with very calm presence, calm nervous system can act as like the ultimate mirror for people that are unhealed, because it's like in their calmness, you can feel your dysregulation.
Well, it's a more clear mirror. Calm isn't faked. So words can be fake, clothes can be fake, cars can be faked, jobs can be fake. Like all of the stories, all the persona, that's all out here.
Yeah.
So persona originally comes from it was a type of mask that they would wear in like Roman theaters or Greek theaters, and it was like a cone-shaped mask that they call their persona to be able to project their character out into the amphitheater audience. So I put on my persona, and now I'm able to project who I propose myself to be in this theater to the audience.
Yeah.
My persona. But underneath the persona, the state of the autonomic system of the body holding the mask, it's very hard to fake that. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. That's my question. Oh, is it true? Is it true that for trapped emotions to be released, that your body has to feel safe enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how do people like create that safety within themselves? I cannot.
I think having a witness is really important.
Is that why in healthy relationships, like all of your sort of triggers can come to the surface?
Probably. I think the reason triggers come to surface in a relationship is because triggers come to surface in your life in general, and everything's, a relationship. It's a relationship to yourself, relationship to your work, relationship to your dog, relationship to your house, relationship to your money, relationship to your, environment.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it's all these like relationships, and they all act as reflections of where we're at. A romantic relationship is especially triggering because it brings up your relation to your primary caregivers. So you start identifying like mommy, daddy.
Yeah.
So like a romantic relationship will take you in a more overt way to that like pre-verbal time frame. And so then it acts as a Yeah, it's just a reflection of yourself, I believe,
Yeah.
relationships to be.
And those sort of like healthy, calm relationships, oftentimes, I mean, they bring up everything every relationship is a mirror and a growth opportunity at some point, but I feel like the healthy, calmer ones can really bring stuff to the surface because you have a safe environment for all these things that you've been storing to be released.
Maybe. I think healthy, calm relationships can be boring too. Like
Totally.
it can be something where it's like, oh, interesting. Like your baggage and my baggage, they kind of fit in a way that works, and we cruise,
Yeah.
and we don't really change.
Right.
We just kind of ride. This is great.
Yeah.
Super boring, super vanilla, super like probably some basic people would look at that relationship like, wow, man, like, how do you guys do it?
Yeah.
You've been the
Like,
most
that's more
boring ass couple
bored.
for the last 12 years.
They're not going to India together.
You're not going to India together.
That's for sure.
Nope. And then maybe another couple is like, their baggage matches in such a way that's like, holy crap, like I am faced with my crap like never before with this. And it is like, you're putting my feet to the fire, it feels like every freaking day. I'm like, this is like a lot, maybe a little too much. And then maybe there's like an in-between. It's like, you have your baggage, I have my baggage. And then we kind of like put our bags together in one vehicle and we kind of see how it fits. Some bags work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Some bags there's disorganization, but that disorganization creates reflection. But I think ultimately a relationship is like a reflection of yourself. And I tend to lean towards every aspect within a relationship as my creation. I'm 100% responsible for everything that arises in the relationship.
100%.
If you steal from me, if you hurt me, if you stab me, if you cheat on me.
Right.
Cheat, I think, is like one of the dumber words. Like you were just dishonest. You just didn't feel honest.
Yeah.
You didn't cheat. It's not like Monopoly.
Right. There was no, you weren't cheating to get ahead. Like you didn't.
Cheat? Like, what are you
you're not
talking
ahead.
about?
Yeah, I know what you
You
mean.
just didn't feel safe to be honest.
Right.
The thing that's beautiful is if you were in a relationship with someone. Do you ever see Good Will Hunting?
Nope.
God dang it. Really?
Yeah.
Come on. So Robin Williams is talking to Matt Damon, and one of the things he's talking about is his relationship with his ex-gal. The things that he remembers and values and cares about most are all of like the quirks. Mm-hmm. So I think it was like one of the things was like while she was sleeping, she would like fart or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, those are the things that are like the things that I like deeply love and cherish.
100%.
So the irony is the thing that you're the most insecure about actually is the thing that the person that truly is like an alignment and a match to like truly love you. Whether they realize it at first, they might find it to be like icks at first.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this thing that they actually
thing they
really
really
deeply
like.
love.
100%.
And to like lose that would be like really
Yeah.
sad.
Because I feel like icks are just you don't like the person enough. Because when you deeply love somebody, you love like the gross shit. I
It
feel
could be
like.
anything. It could be like a projection. It could be like it reminds you of something that has nothing to do with this present moment. But
Totally.
it like, you know, it's like if a person gets abused or something as a younger person, maybe like every time they see somebody put their hand up like that, or a dog, if a dog is hit and someone were like go like that with their hand, you know, or a person, they might flinch. Oh God, a hand means I'm about to get swatted. Whereas another dog that doesn't have that experience, they see the exact same hand and they say, ooh, you're gonna give me a treat.
Yeah.
An ick could be a lot of things.
You said something about like co-creating in relationships, and I feel like the biggest shift for me with approaching dating and relationships is moving away from reacting to co-creating. And it's kind of similar to the way that you experience life as well. An example would be like you start seeing somebody new and you don't like that they take 10 hours to reply. Reacting would be like either going all in on them and like scolding them and like you blah, 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 blah. Or it would be reacting like pulling way back or just kind of blocking yourself off from the connection. Versus co-creation would be, hey, stating your needs, right? And then deciding whether that person is for you or not.
Yeah.
It's like a much better way.
And if you can notice that there's like a reactivity happening in you, that there is a potential invitation to look at that and say, like, where am I in this? Because there's two different things. There's one, okay, they took 10 hours to respond back. This causes me to be reactive. Then you have to ask, okay, like, why is this causing me to be reactive? Option A, it means they don't care about me as much as I care about them, like the love's not safe. Option B, I've told them about this, how this is important to me.
Right.
They're not respecting me. I don't feel respected.
Yeah.
That triggers something in me. How dare they not respect me? Option, whatever. Go through the list. If they're generally speaking, if there is something that actually creates reactivity, because there could be something where it's like, I'm not here for this. Not reactive about it. I'm just not here for this.
Yeah.
You'd probably make a more like cogent decision based on reality and like a non kind of foggy mirror. If you're able to have the experience of like, okay, this isn't causing me to like pull my hair out. If it is causing you to pull your hair out, there is probably actually some quote unquote work for you in that and an invitation to be able to look at that.
Yeah.
And sometimes a person is too much, they're too triggering.
Yeah, totally.
And what I need like, this person's like 100% max trigger, which I get it. You know, if there's reactivity within me, there's some part within myself to look at and examine, and it's an opportunity and never waste a trigger. Maybe I could use somebody that's like a 40% trigger though. You know, where I'm like, okay, cool, like I can manage the triggers, but I'm not in overwhelm with the reactivity and the triggers.
Yeah.
And so I actually get to do work within this relationship, and the person that I'm with is able to respect. I don't like the word boundaries very much, because I think when you have to say boundaries in a relationship, it's usually an indication that you're out of alignment within the relationship.
Totally.
So you're like, these are my boundaries.
Yeah.
It's probably a good indication that you guys just shouldn't be rolling together.
Yeah.
If you say boundaries more than 4 times in a day, it's probably like, I think y'all just
Need to not be together.
just not be together
Yeah.
and go sort out more alignment within yourself and integrity within yourself. Who cares whose is or is not in integrity? Because ultimately, if you're with someone that you are accusing to not be in integrity, like, they are a creation of you.
Right.
And the way that they are being in that dynamic with you, you're a part. Like, you guys are a dyad, you're rolling together. And so the idea of like, that person is whatever, that will probably stifle the growth of an individual.
Totally.
Because then you're saying, like, you had the opportunity, cool. This felt messy, this felt hurtful, this felt reactive, this felt triggering, this felt all the things. Opportunity, education, like life education here for you on a plate. 2 options. Option 1, they're bad. They're a narcissist. Me, I'm a victim. I got victimized again. I cut the perpetrator. I'm empowered. I didn't evolve.
Right.
I didn't learn. I didn't reflect on, why is it that I chose this perpetrator, and why is this the 12th time I've chosen a perpetrator?
Yeah. Maybe the next guy.
I know I'm a victim, and I know that all I do is good in the world, and the rest of the world is bad. And I'm just going to keep on marching along, and I'm not going to change it all. And then I'm going to run this again until eventually I start to get real with myself.
Well, and that's also why it's so damaging, because you see people like just cycle in and out of relationships. People say you keep finding the same person over and over again. I don't think that's true. I think you just keep meeting the same version of yourself over and over again.
Well, you just have resonance. There's some things that you have resonance with and some things that you don't. Until you create actual deep intrinsic internal change within yourself, you will resonate with a very distinct flavor of individual. And so there's like, it's like an acoustic match. And so there's certain types of frequencies that will resonate together. It's like if an opera singer sings at a certain pitch, she can like, you know, fracture a wine glass, right? So I'm able to match my resonance, and it's able to pick up with another one, and we kind of amplify together. There's almost like this attraction with that. If I change the resonance, which this happens oftentimes if you like, sometimes you go through a breakup, you know, your girlfriend will see you again 6 months later, and you're like, oh my God, like what, like you had a glow up, you know? It's like, yeah, like I let go of that, and I went through some like deep dark night of the soul stuff, and I did therapy, and I traveled. I went to Bali and Indonesia and India, and you know, I met a guy and I had a fling, and then I started this new business, and now I come back and like the person I am is like a different person than I was 6 months ago. So now your resonance will be different, and it will match and attract something that matches that. And so as long as you are in the place of, I'm the good guy, they're the bad girl, or I'm the good girl, they're the bad guy, I'm the victim, they're the perpetrator, that's perfectly fine, and you will not change at all. I love that for you.
Yeah.
No
That's
problem.
great. We're not all meant to awaken in this lifetime.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Stay exactly where you're at, do not change, and life will keep on giving you the exact same lesson over and over again until the cost of not changing exceeds the cost of changing.
Do you feel like you're still wearing a mask today in some way, coming from like an ego place? In what way?
I think I'm wearing masks. You know, I think I have like my whole like I did like a parts work session thing with somebody recently.
Yeah.
They like broke down different kind of like personality archetypes. In this tail end of it, we did like a meditation thing, and it was very cool. I got like very weepy during it, and I like found like my safe place. It was like my grandma's kitchen, and we were playing rummy. It almost made me emotional thinking about it. My grandma's passed, not because she's passed, it made me emotional, just like how much like love there was there, and the fact that of all the safe places I could possibly think of in the entire world, it was like my grandma's kitchen. I'm like, that's so freaking sweet.
Yeah, that's cute.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
I have a lot of compassion for my like young boy self, and that to me is
Well, it's like the exile, right? In IFS, is the exile is typically your younger self, and then you have your protector parts.
Yeah, right. So that was so we bring like the protector to the table, and we bring like the integrated adult to the table, and the nurturer to the table, and you can kind of like talk to these different subsets of yourself and be like, hey, nurturer, like, what do you think about this situation? Hey, protector, like, what do you think? Hey, integrated adult, like, you got any thoughts?
Yeah.
I think that I and any person, we have different types of personas that we hold to navigate through the world. I wear a very particular outfit, pretty much the same outfit that I wear every time, anytime I do anything that's like brand or work related. It's like black something, black pants, black shirt or black tank top, necklace, haircut denotes something about me. Like everything I do or don't do is an indication of something that I'm projecting into the world.
Totally.
And so it's some like, cool, like I think this identity structure kind of works for the path I desire to be on. So cool, I'm finding that. Cool, that works. All right, cool, this is it. And then hopefully there's also the meta-awareness that you don't get lost in, because then you can have like excessively, maybe like this one, like pedantic kind of conversations that aren't grounded in anything. You're just like, bro, just fucking chill, like let's just play and vibe and chill and let's go shoot some guns.
Right.
Have a good time, we'll go surf.
Yeah.
We don't need to be stuck
Always
in our
right.
feels and,
Totally.
our parts. But hopefully simultaneously there's the meta-awareness that you can access almost like lenses on a camera, where you're like, oh, cool, like this is all kind of an act. And underneath that, my identity doesn't wear a black shirt or gold necklace or have a haircut. It's just a bunch of floating, gooey, oceanic business. If I'm going to go work with a billionaire CEO client, I'll have a certain subtle shift in the way that I dress and the way that I speak and such. If I'm working with an athlete who grew up in Detroit, they just like came into a bunch of money in the last recently, and they've got gold chains and they're that, and they're like living their best life and they're just like full YOLO.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, like, okay, like kind of different vibe. How can I kind of be in such a way that's authentic to myself and also is kind of like a mirror for the person that I'm with? And so it's like being able to subtly shift our persona while also maintaining authenticity and also awareness that nothing's real, everything's a dream, and everything's wildly real and very serious simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like maybe not serious, matters. Everything's wildly real and everything matters. And simultaneously, everything is a dream, and this is all just like a cute song and dance we're doing.
I know. Honestly.
So you can use those different perspectives on what works. So it's like, so I did a podcast with Robert Sapolsky recently. Robert Sapolsky is the Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers primatologist guy. He recently wrote a book about free will, and he's like a Stanford professor, superstar guy. His perspective is that free will does not exist. And in the conversation with him, which I think I listened to like most all of his conversations he's had about it in preparation for our conversation together, and he actually was able to like soften into like listening a little bit to my perspective on it, which I thought was great, because I wasn't saying that free will, like we have free will and you're wrong for saying we don't have free will.
Right.
I brought it back to it's all kind of true and not true simultaneously, and what matters most with our lens on the world is, does it serve us? Ultimately, your lens doesn't matter. You could think the earth is flat, earth is round, you could think that we have free will, don't have free will. Like ultimately, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, does that lens fit this situation to make you feel the best, make you have the most empathy, make you have the most connection, make you like be able to go the direction you want to go. If we don't have free will, we tend to have empathy for prisoners, for criminals, for people that are bad. So the people that we think are like bad, that we point our fingers at, the perpetrators of the world, well, we don't have free will. So that perpetrator that I hate, if I was them, I would do exactly as they do. So how can I be mad at them? How can I hate them for doing what they do? If I was them, if I grew up as the baby version of them and I had the parents they did and the environmental conditions they did and genetic stuff and all the things, I would be no one else other than exactly them. So if I hate them, I essentially am like hating myself. If I'm holding hate for someone else, I'm just hating myself. And so it will be a much more supportive lens on the world in that situation to be like, free will doesn't even exist. I have nothing but compassion for you, criminal that hurt me or something like that.
In that instance, yeah.
And then there's another situation where maybe having free will is helpful for a situation because you're like, you know what, I can change things. I'm in this prison cell, like literal or figurative.
Yeah.
And I'm not just a product of my environment. I'm not just kind of like this detached entity moving through, kind of getting knocked around like a pinball machine. Like, I have free will. I can change things.
His perspective on that would be that it was kind of like written in the stars for certain people to choose growth or not.
Yeah, that we're all just a part of pretty much like a super advanced algorithmic equation that every decision you ever possibly could make, which I agree with this. I just agree with both. So that's the thing. It's like the same thing. It's like everything matters wildly and everything it's just a dream, and it totally doesn't. Both of those are absolutely true. And I think if you can hold both of those simultaneously, I think it's, that's like a supportive tool. But so the free will, not free will thing, I completely agree in a lot of ways that every decision that I could possibly make, I'm pretty much just going through. It's like a Scantron test, and so right now I have the option to say or do or a bunch of different things. And my nature, myself, based off of everything I've learned, all the imprints that I have, all the baggage that I have, my parents, environmental stuff, genetics, all that stuff, goes through and finds the statistical, what feels to be the best decision. But that's not me. That's just a product of my environment.
Right. But then so how does intuition play into that? Like, would it make intuition obsolete?
Kind of. It'd be like intuition will happen regardless of whether, whatever. And your decision to expand your intuition or become more quiet is all environmental conditions. It's all things that have guided what you refer to be your you-ness into those beliefs and those perspectives. And the idea that you have, that I do have free will, perfect. I love that. Like, it's your lack of free will that brought you to the belief that you have free will. It's amazing.
The last thing I want to talk about is men exploring their emotional worlds. Because obviously men grow up with a lot of societal expectations. This is how you act. You don't show emotion, et cetera, et cetera. What are you seeing sort of like on a general cultural or like broader level? Are men being pushed more into that world, or? I
think men do what they perceive women to find attractive. And I think women are finding emotionally vulnerable, authentic men to be attractive. Women are very powerful. Women guide the nature of men. Men are they're the perceived front of the ship that guides the things and, all that. They pull the strings in an overt way. And then femininity and women are pulling the strings in like a subverted way or like a non-overt way.
Interesting.
And so I think most men are doing whatever it is. So for a while, probably men, and it's still true, like women like rich guys, but you don't like rich assholes. You're almost worse. If you're a rich asshole, it's almost like I almost hate you for your money.
Yeah.
But if you have resources and you're safe and you're also like authentic and empathetic and a good listener and all that stuff, you're very attractive.
Yeah.
So you having resources is very attractive, but having emotional resources, I think, is a thing that's becoming more attractive for women.
Well, it's like the foundational aspect too. It's like foundationally, at least for me and most women, they need to feel emotionally safe. And then if there is like the resources, that's a great, icing on the cake. But I'm also an entrepreneur, so I don't know what other women are.
Did I say that right? Subverted? What does subvert mean?
I literally have no idea what it means.
I gotta look up. I think I might have used that incorrectly. Subverted means to undermine, overthrow, or destabilize. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. Sorry. In a non-overt way is what I meant to say with women, not subvert like they're destabilizing or overthrowing something. I felt wrong as I said. I was like, that's not right. Yeah. So men are overtly like in control.
Yes.
Women are non-overtly in control of men. Not as an absolute. There's nuance to everything. But I think that in relation to like what is guiding men away or to certain things, I think generally speaking, maybe now more than previous, I'm not really sure, gals seem to find a man who is excited about going to therapy and excited about like meditation or
super attractive
stuff like that. Seems to be kind of hot.
Yeah.
If you take mushrooms or go do ayahuasca, you could take a big handful of mushrooms because you think you're a big, strong man. You're like, yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to take 5 grams of mushrooms. Like, I'm such, like, you can do it from full ego bullshit layer. Then you take the mushrooms. And the mushrooms start. And you're like, whatever you thought doesn't matter anymore. You took the mushrooms.
Yeah.
So whatever reason you start
going
the process, it doesn't matter. And so I think within that, it's like the gals would be kind of suggestive in like maybe a conscious or subconscious way for guys to maybe like, okay, cool, you know what? I'm going to go to this breathwork class. I'm going to work on stored feelings.
Step 1, feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Step 2.
I'm gonna feel.
I'm gonna feel today. I'm
But
like,
then you feel.
But then you feel. And
you're like,
you get
holy effing stuff.
there. Yeah, I have a lot.
What have I been missing out on?
Literally.
And I have a lot.
I have a lot.
I have a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit in there. Yeah, it's surprising. Whenever I see men starting to do the work, though, it's like I get so like proud. Like I'm like a proud mom with like a little boy.
Men
I'm
are
like, yes,
men are children.
let's go. I know.
Yeah, women are like the wise
Eating it.
sages. A lot of women are very fractured,
Yes.
hurt, stuck in their baggage. But at the core of every woman, I think, is like a very like wise oracle like essence
Yeah.
being. It's just like whoa, like
Yeah.
and I think they kind of guide the boys along. And the boys go and they fight battles and
Right.
they kick doors down. And they feel strong and they're like I protect you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But the girl's like, or like the woman, not the girl, but the woman is like, she's like this oracle like kind of queen that is kind of guiding things in like a more invisible way.
And it's a hard balance too, because it's like we want this physically masculine man that we can rely on and trust that is also emotionally in tune to himself. But it's also women have to hold both as well, masculine and feminine. That's an interesting.
Yeah, and so if you can be a balanced-ish masculine, feminine as one individual, then you can resonate. That would be maybe just referred to as like a secure attachment style, probably be another way of saying it. And then you would probably relate with another person that's semi-close to balanced when they're masculine and feminine. You don't be 50-50 because it's stupid. Like they're 50-50, anything's weird. But you're in a place where like I provide the masculine structure, containment. Like some girls are completely lost.
Totally.
And some guys are too stiff, rigid, and completely detached from anything deeper than like fucking war and money and go.
Politics, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they're just like automaton.
Glitch, yeah.
And so there's the balance for the gal that's just like nothing gets done, late to everything, lots of ideas, totally just like nothing happened, just spinning wheels.
Yeah.
Super feminine, but too feminine. The masculine would be like, I have an idea. Amazing, feminine, energy, creative. We're writing it out. Like, this is great. I love this. And like, I'm going to map out a schedule. I'm going to map out my next step. Great thing. Okay, I have my plan of how this is going to look in 3 months. I'm going to start to reverse engineer that, kind of create a structure. Okay, now I'm going to reverse engineer all that, but like, okay, what's my next best step? I've mapped this out, and now I'm going to do. So that would be like masculine influence in the femininity, which is like the magic and the ideas and the zest and all that.
So I've struggled with the opposite, and a lot of women in my world struggle with the opposite, where I'm now learning to incorporate more like femininity into my life because and a lot of women I know that are like very successful entrepreneurs, it's like you're struggling from this just wounded feminine energy of like, I can do everything, I can pay for everything, like not allowing any flow or like any receptivity into your life whatsoever. So for me, it's like, it's the opposite. And I see videos now online of girls being like, I paid for my flight to St. Bart's, like what does a man have to offer me? And I'm like, I've made videos like that in the past, and I look back and I'm like, no wonder you've attracted the men you've attracted. This makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So it's like learning how to integrate both sides in a
it would be vulnerable to trust someone to like be caring to you or supportive to you.
Yeah.
I think the ideal situation is to be in a dynamic where you're not codependent on, at least at first while dating. Once you're married and once there's like the proposition of a baby coming, I think things change dramatically.
Yeah.
But if you're just dating, you're just two sovereign beings dating, I feel like if the gal is codependent on the fella in a way, like, okay, great, we're going to start to date and you're going to pay my rent. And
I just heard about this recently. I didn't know this was a thing until I got to Miami.
Yeah, I don't think that's wise. And I need to look pretty for you. So you're going to pay for my nails and you're going to pay for my lips. I know you like the lips. We're going to get the lips done. I'm kind of sort of prostituting myself because I have no choice.
Right.
That is very different than I actually do have choices. I actually am in like a centrated, balanced, neutral place where I have done the work within myself to be able to create safety for myself. And you have done the same, sir, and it feels good for you to like want to pay for my nails or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not an expectation that I have of you.
Right.
Because the moment that I have the expectation of you, suddenly it's like this weird warped, twisted thing where we're working together and it's prostitution. I think. Prostitution, like the literal concept. Like I'm trading my sex and my beauty for your money. Because I don't have it.
Right.
And I need it. But if you can be in a place where it's like, no, like I'm good and I'm even gooder together.
Yeah.
Like together we do a better job. And I fill you with life and energy and creativity. And I see these things in you that other people aren't able to. And I see the people that you're around. And like, there's like, my intuition is kind of telling me something like, and you're like, oh my God, like you are a really valuable, deep, grounded person in my life. I think running the codependent dynamic where it's like, if you're starting off from like, I need this, it's probably not going to go in the most healthy direction. You could also clean things up, and it starts off super toxic and messed up and whatever, and then you like you are both committed to each other in what starts to be a really imbalanced, fractured, kind of destabilized way, and then you guys like do the work to build yourselves together. Individually together.
And that circles back to creating nervous system safety, because if you're constantly looking for a man to make you feel regulated, make you feel safe, that's the same kind of dynamic to me as like, pay for my rent, blah, 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 I want your money.
And the man you're finding is doing the exact same thing.
Exactly.
So like the girls, because I said prostitute, I'm not saying like girl bad.
Yeah.
The guy and the girl, they're just doing the same thing. They're just playing the same game. The guy's looking to feel powerful. He's looking to feel above. He's looking to feel over. He doesn't want a girl that could actually be like with him. He doesn't find a woman that wants to be with him. He wants to find a girl that he can kind of like hold. It's not a good setup for the girl, because eventually they're going to break up and he's going to find another 23-year-old girl from Colombia or whatever, you know, and the girl that was riding with him for a while under his wing, now she's gone. And she hasn't had the time to really work on herself and work on creating that kind of masculine integration within herself. They were together for 3 years. Now she's 28, you know, and now she's in this place where it's like, well, do I do that again? Well, hopefully not. Hopefully you lean in. You're like, I'm going to figure myself out. I'm going to like, I'm going to plant
your
right
entire
here.
life, girl.
And then I'm going to actually create the resonance to find a man that wants to actually like ride with me, and we can integrate.
Really beautiful. Yeah, that's what I've done. Like since my last breakup last year, I really conscientiously was like, I have had my entire life since I was 15 years old, a guy in my life in some way. Not just like dating or in a relationship, but like even the guy, I'm like, is he looking at my stories? Like somebody in my world, field. Yeah. And I was like, after that breakup, I'm like, I don't have anybody in my field. And what a perfect opportunity to look inward, get quiet with myself, and like raise my resonance so that way I can meet somebody that is more of the lifelong partner that can match me where I am. And it's been really difficult because it's difficult to be alone, quote unquote. Not for me, but I think generally, I like being alone. But generally for a lot of people, it's hard.
Why do you say it's difficult to be alone then? Oh, you're talking for other people, not yourself.
I think in general, people have a hard time being alone.
What about for you?
It's easy for me to be alone.
So is it harder to be in connection?
No, I'm comfortable with both, which is great.
All right.
But I know that the reason why people cycle in and out of person to person is because that presence of being alone with themselves is difficult.
Is it easier for you to be in connection or easier for you to be alone?
Depends on the relationship. Like we're talking friends, or I think both are equal to me,
feels
honestly.
safer?
I enjoy being alone and I enjoy my own thoughts. I'm very comfortable with myself and like in my mind and in my body.
If I were to ask, and I'm not trying to do anything,
No, let's take over the podcast.
If I were to ask, does it feel safer to be alone or safer to be in connection with a man?
If I have to choose one, probably safer to be alone.
Really?
Yeah, but I feel like that's a kind of common.
No.
That's
there's no common.
Okay.
If a person really is like very honest, that would probably be, I don't know, I'm not a relationship guru coach, so I don't want to say what that is or is not, but I don't think that's just the standard. I think that's a particular thing for you.
When you're in like connection with somebody else, that's where all the fears and things can come up. And so when I'm on my own, I'm like.
And didn't you say that you have a tendency, you have a tendency of veering towards like the kind of masculine structure, I'll do it on my own thing is easier for you, and something that there could be a little more bandwidth kind of offered to would be the part of surrender, softening, easing, like allowing another in. Exactly. So it would make sense that the first thing that comes to your like body, mind is that it feels safer to be alone.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not the case with everybody.
No,
at all.
It's not. Yeah.
So it's something like special and interesting to you.
My journey. Yeah, I'm in a stage of like learning how to receive from men, because I typically find myself with men that take a lot, and not even saying it's their fault.
It's your creation.
I was there for exactly.
It's your creation.
So
there's something about that feels like true and safe to you.
Because it's, if I can give to you, make sure you're okay, make sure, all of my efforts with what's going on with you, then I never have to be truly vulnerable, is a thing I've unpacked recently. It's a therapy session now.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, it wasn't a them problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think the first thing is just being able to start to witness yourself, and start to play the game of accountability and responsibility. And just like, what would the world be like, even if I don't really feel this to be true right now because I'm so mad, but what would the world be like if like I created this? And there's no part that is like, he is just like a simulation
Totally.
in my dream, and I manifest and create the he. So there's only me. Perfect. If every aspect of this is me, and ideally my dream relationship is I'm with a partner that runs this similar operating system, and that we could be in a place, and that's to say that I always run this, I definitely come into like blame game as well, but ideally we can be in a place where the person that I'm with does the same thing, and then we show up, there's a thing where we're like, mad. Both of our default systems is going through of like, where am I in this? And how did I create this? And the other person's doing the same, and we can actually defend each other. Where I'm like, no, that for sure is mine. Like, and she's like, no, like, no, you can't take that. I feel like that in my kind of illusory dream reality manifestation of my future relationship.
Are you more comfortable alone or in connection?
Connection.
Really? Why?
Aloneness for me feels like it brings up more dark caverns that I haven't looked at within myself. Connection can be a distraction.
I think that's probably, I always have more room to grow, but I feel like I've looked in a lot of fucking caverns.
Yeah, maybe time to let somebody else hang out in those caverns with you.
That's the work. Where can everyone find you, Aaron? You're amazing.
Oh, thanks. So I host a podcast called Align Podcast, and if folks are interested in doing breathing stuff, so there's a Align breathing program is something that I say we created because I have a team of people that help me with it as well. And then the first week of that is free, and it's all around the mechanics of breathing. So it's around opening up your nasal passages and everything I mentioned previously around balancing and accessing the diaphragm and the ribs, and just getting to rebalance and reorient your body to be able to breathe well. So how to breathe is a thing that people are pretty much just never learned, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
And so people are interested in doing that. The first week is all around mechanics, how to breathe. It's a free trial. That's alignpodcast.com/breathe. Aaron Alexander's the Instagram. There's a breathing archetype quiz on the Instagram. People want to take that. It's an assessment of how you breathe, determine whether you are kind of over breathing or maybe you are very calm. So it's a balance of qualitative questions about like your personality, how you respond to certain situations, and then some quantitative actual breathing assessments.
Amazing.
So alignpodcast.com/breathe for the free trial thing. And then Aaron Alexander IG has all the other stuff.
Perfect. All the resources. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. I appreciate you.